Hi everyone, Sharon here. I hope you're all adjusting well to the challenges of 2020. And I just wanted today to talk a bit about something that I've been speaking about actually since the beginning of 2020. And recently, the more I've been talking to people about this, the more I'm getting the feedback that this understanding is really helping people. So I'm going to talk a bit about that. But first, I just want to let you know about some interesting, exciting stuff coming up with You Deserve Better. So the first thing to mention is that the free monthly healing call will be this week. It's the first Wednesday of every month, 8 o'clock, that's 8 p.m. British Standard Time. So I've kind of chosen that time because it's kind of late enough in the evening so that the people in the UK can get everything done from the day and relax and come onto the call at 8 o'clock. It's a bit late for people in Europe, so apologies for that, but hopefully it's not too late. And those of you in the US, hopefully works out quite a good time for you. And sorry for the people in Australia because it's really quite early. So sorry about that, but I tried to find a time that would fit everybody. So the healing call this week. In last month's call, I promised that I would, in this month's call, reconnect everyone's vagus nerve. So I'm true to my promise. This month, if you come onto the call, I will be reconnecting everyone's vagus nerve. So for those of you who aren't familiar with the vagus nerve and its importance, I would consider it almost essential to health. It's the biggest nerve in the body, it's the 10th cranial nerve, and it goes from your brain, basically brainstem, heart and gut. So basically your three brains, your brain, your heart brain and your gut brain are connected. So your digestion, your heart and your mind are all connected through the vagus nerve. And it is essential to your fight and flight system, fight, flight and freeze, your stress mechanism. And it's basically a communication highway. And through my work, what I've noticed over time was that people's vagus nerves were shot, energetically speaking. It's broken, it's disconnected. And so it's a communication highway. And when those three really important parts of you, your brain, your heart, and your gut, are not connected, they're not talking to each other properly, you get a lot of dysfunction. So it's one of the things that I believe is really important. And although there are things you can do for yourself, there are breathing techniques, there's some somatic movements you can do for yourself as well. There's a couple of techniques out there. What I like to do is I like to reconnect it, energetically speaking. So I have developed my own technique. It is actually part of the original blueprint process. So the original blueprint process is a process I specifically created for my clients, and it's a lovely process, and this is one part of it. But I'm giving it to you for free in this month's free healing call. But it's more than just reconnecting your vagus nerve. What I also do at the same time is, because part of that is your stress mechanism, we come out of, when we're stressed, we kind of come out of a real sense of connection with other things, the world, nature, other people, because we're in a fear mechanism. And so once I reconnect the vagus nerve, the other thing that I also do is reconnect you into the energy grid of life. It's a really lovely process. It's very simple. It's completely unique. I don't know anybody who does this technique. I don't know if anyone even knows how else to do this apart from me. I was given this technique from Spirit, and a very special tool that I had handmade to do this technique. And I don't know if other people realise that the vagus nerves are actually energetically disconnected. So it's a very special technique. I'm really happy to share it with you. So if you come on the call, I'll be doing it for everybody as a group. Okay, so that's exciting. Hope to see you there for that. Then the next thing to mention is I have added a bonus item to the health video series. So the health video series, if you're not aware, is I've recorded 11 videos as an alternate to having one-to-one sessions. So not everybody wants one-to-one sessions. Some people may not wish to pay the money for a one-to-one session. So I wanted to do something whereby you could access pretty much everything that I know, a lot of the techniques that I use in sessions with my clients. And I've done 11 videos and 11 accompanying workbooks, which are really detailed and it's got loads of resources on there. I really do love this video series that I've put together. I haven't left anything out. I really have tried to give as much as I possibly can in the video series, so I really stand by that video series. But I recently added a bonus, which is a meditation. It's called Healing and Wholeness Meditation. I channeled that meditation. It's 38 minutes long, so it's quite long. And it's a guided meditation, but really it's also sort of a space for you to discover the truth about your health and wellness and self. So I've added that into the health video series. You get that as a free bonus. But I've also made it available as a standalone meditation to purchase. It's only £3. And it's there in case anybody doesn't want to buy the video series, but would still like access to the meditation. So it is available through the website. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. Like I say, I channeled it, I didn't create it, so it's come direct from Spirit via me to you. So I hope you really enjoy it, for those of you who decide to give it a go. So that's the video series. What else? I am intending to launch another product shortly too, which is called Upgrade Your Beliefs. And that, as the title suggests, is all about changing your beliefs. So if you know that your beliefs are what's holding you back and you want to change them, I do a really fast way of changing those beliefs. So you can buy them as you go. I'm not going to set number of sessions that you may need. We start, we change beliefs. When you think you're done, we're done. That's it. So that's coming up. It's not on the website yet, but it's coming up shortly. So if you're interested in quick ways to change your beliefs, this is not long, elongated ways to change your beliefs through talking therapies and going into the past and digging around. This is literally, what beliefs do you want to change? What's in your subconscious mind, which I will help you with, because I tune in, listen to the subconscious mind. We can see what's there and then we can change them. So that's a new product coming up shortly. I don't know if people understand this, but the website is set up that the shop has lots of different products. And the way it works is, like, if you're interested in something and you want to purchase and you kind of go, yeah, I want to change my beliefs, it's just like a product, you take it off the shelf, you purchase it, I see that you've bought it and I'll give you a call and we'll arrange all the details. So if you know what you want, if you know you want the health video series, you can just purchase that via the shop. If you want sessions and you know you want sessions, again, you can just go and book 6 sessions via the shop, pay for it all, and then I will give you a call. If you have any questions, if you want to talk to me before that, that's lovely. I love that as well. You can book in a free consultation call, and you can do that. The calendar is available on the page. You just go in, choose a time, and we'll have that Zoom call there at the time you've decided. And then if you want to proceed, you can. And if you don't want to, you don't have to. So the shop is where all the products are. So you can have a look there. And the new meditation is up there. But the product of Change Your Beliefs is going to go live shortly. And so that's kind of it for the meditations. Except for to say as well, actually, I will be doing more meditations that are going to be free, and they are going to be shorter. I haven't recorded them yet, but they're in work in progress. So keep an eye out on the resources, audio and podcast page. I will be loading them within the next month or so. So keep an eye out for the free stuff. Okay, so to move on to what I was talking about at the beginning. So at the beginning of this year, I had a very strong message come through about what to expect for 2020. And it's really come to be true. And so a lot of people have been really struggling with just the uncertainty of everything that's kind of going on at the moment. And, you know, obviously through COVID-19. And so I've been explaining this to a lot of people about the message that's come through and why it's come through, why we are feeling the way we are feeling, and sort of what the future holds for this. So I wanted to offer this up as well, because a lot of people have been reflecting back to me that it's been really helpful to them. So the feeling I got at the beginning of the year was that this year was all going to be about holding, and I'm going to say two, but actually it's multiple. It's just I've only got two hands, so I'm going to say two conflicting, opposing ideas at the same time. So we have got very dualistic minds. It's either right and wrong, good and bad, one thing or another. And we're very judgy because of that. We have a lot of judgment in whether something is the right thing or the wrong thing. You can definitely see this happening with COVID. You shouldn't be doing this. You should be wearing a mask. No, you shouldn't be wearing a mask. Yes, this helps. No, it doesn't help. There's a huge lot of judgment that's coming up around COVID amongst everything else that's going on in 2020. So I'm just using that as an example. And so the important thing to realise is that we're now moving into an era where we're moving away from dualistic thought, because dualistic thought is really not helping anybody. Right and wrong is a judgment, right? Good or bad is a judgment. And actually keeping us in these two states and not being able to see the spectrum in between these causes quite a lot of suffering, and it's been causing suffering for many, many decades, if not centuries. It kind of comes out of religion, especially organized religion, because there is, saint and sinner. There is good and bad, right and wrong. There has been a lot of judgment in society. So the universe is moving us out of the dualistic way of thinking, and I would say at the moment it's so pluralistic thinking at the moment. So you might be noticing that you have two different feelings. Like 1 minute you might be feeling this about a subject, and the next minute you might be feeling this, and you're like, I can't marry the two. Which one is right? Which one should I follow? And this year it's not really about right and wrong, good or bad. It's about understanding that there's a spectrum in between. Now, as a coach, I'm always trying to help people with this understanding. I've been doing it for many years. We have this idea that if I do this, this is the outcome. If I do that, that's the polar outcome. And it's like, no, there's millions of choices in between that. But most people can only see two, and they're usually polar opposites, right? Rather than complementary, they're usually opposites. So we're getting a lot of that in 2020. We're getting a lot of conflicting information. We don't know what's right. We kind of have an idea, but then there are lots of different factors. There's a lot of different information coming into us from different sources. And it's really hard to know for ourselves, like almost what is right and what is wrong. And the invitation is to stop asking what is right and what is wrong, and just say, actually, there's all this information here. And it's not about saying what's right and what's wrong. It's kind of just creating a conscious choice as to what you want to do with that information. And what you want to do with that information may be that you recognize there's some truth over here, there's some truth over here, but that's not the whole truth, and that's not the whole truth. And maybe there's some truth over here, and maybe there's some hidden truth over there, but it's not really that clear. And so the invitation is to not try and choose between opposing ideas, but to actually sort of walk your own path, holding all of this information. So this is really uncomfortable for most people. I mean, it's crazy uncomfortable. We want to know, is it right? Is it wrong? Is it good? Is it bad? We want to know that our choices are safe or unsafe, right? That's what we want, but that's not what 2020 is going to give us. So we can want it all we like. It's not going to happen. So the invitation is to come out of dualistic thinking. And this is going to be really important sort of going forward. So the sooner you get on board with it, the easier life will be, because this is not going away. This is the start of it. So, the example I often use at the moment is the transgender community. There's a lot of people, for some unknown reason, always ask me how I feel about it. Mostly people who don't really understand it. And my answer is always the same. And that is that I think it's great. it's showing us the spectrum of life between masculine and feminine. There's a spectrum. It's not black and white. It's not just masculine, just feminine. There is a spectrum, and there always has been, but we've just never allowed it to come to the surface. So it's showing us the spectrum. This is being shown in so many places. It's not just transgender. It's just a really obvious example. And so there's a spectrum, and everything on that spectrum is to be included. So it's all about inclusivity as well. And it's also about integration. It's about being able to say, well, that feminine is not over here and this masculine is over here, and never the twain shall meet. We must always be separate. We first recognize there's a spectrum, and then eventually we'll be able to integrate that spectrum. So we can all be masculine and feminine in its completely balanced state, where we will actually be working at our most optimal as human beings. At the moment, it's not there. We're not there yet, but that is the pathway that we have been given. And that's just an example of masculine and feminine. But there are lots of subject areas. There's a lot of societal change that's going to be coming. And it's going to be coming because we can't live in a dualistic world anymore. We just can't. And the part of the reason why we can't do that is we need to create great change on the planet if we're going to survive. So this is part of the recognition that we need to start taking judgment out, and we need to bring in acceptance of all of life in all of its variety. And let me just say one thing about a variety of life. The whole of nature has been created with the greatest variety that you can imagine, right? We watch all these nature programs and they show us these new creatures that have been discovered, or insects or animals and various other things that have been discovered by humans. And we see this beautiful variety of nature and we go, wow, that's wonderful. And then we look at human beings and go, oh, you're not me. You're not the same as me. No, I don't like that. It's ridiculous. It's insanely ridiculous. We are part of nature. We too are meant to be varied. It's the beauty of the variety of life. It's just insane that we just take ourselves out of that and say, oh, that person's not like me. Oh, that person's not like me. Everyone should be like me. That's the right way. And the rest of the humankind is all wrong. And that's why we have to come out of this mindset. Because variety exists. It's meant to exist. We were designed to be varied. And so, this dualistic mindset has to change. And it's going to change. So that is my offering to you. I hope you find it useful for just framing 2020, because I can guarantee you life will feel a lot easier when you recognise you're just meant to be juggling it all and not trying to decide one way or the other. And I hope you will join me for Wednesday's healing call. If I've said anything in this video that you want some clarity on, or you think, no, I want to argue with Sharon, feel free. It's okay. I like a discussion. Come on the free healing call if you want, or contact me. That's fine too. And yeah, I do hope you join me on the Wednesday call. And hope you have a good rest of your day and rest of your week. And I will be back in touch for September's newsletter.